And oh, there's a bend coming up, but can we combine it? ESC off, confirm. Hello guys, and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel. Today's video is about the controversial subject that is the Mk8 Golf's infotainment system. I'm pretty sure you've read a review or seen it on YouTube that says the system isn't very good and they want to return to normal buttons. And yes, it's not perfect, but it's nowhere near as bad as most reviewers are making out. I've had my car now for 8 months and I've really got to know the system, and I think a lot of the problems people are having is that they're just not taking the time out to learn its ways. And once you do learn its ways, I feel genuinely that it's an improvement over what is in the older cars. So there are a number of myths that are associated with the infotainment system that we're going to talk about today, and you can make your own mind up as to whether these complaints by the other reviewers are justified. We're going to start off with number one, the myth that the system is laggy. There are actually two myths relating to the lagginess of the system. One is that it's laggy all the time. Doesn't matter how long it's been on for, it's very slow to respond to your request. We'll come to that next. But myth number one is that the system is laggy after you start the car up. It takes ages for you to be able to operate the screen. So what we're doing today to replicate that is that it's actually been left here overnight. It's not even been opened today. I've got the key in my pocket, which should open the doors for us as we get close to it. And then you'll see it exactly as it is when I start the car up in the morning. So let's get inside. Okay, so I don't hang around, put the foot on the brake, get it started as quickly as possible. And now, unlike journalists, I have to put a PIN code in, which protects my settings, and it checks that over. And we're on. Now, some journalists complain about the mode button not working. I think that's pretty quick. And then the rest of it, well, I don't really mess around with this, to be honest. But if I want to go somewhere, I'll go into Apple CarPlay, but let's just use navigation anyway. So that's taking time to start up. Now, navigation does take time to start up in a lot of cars. It's not just this one. So this is not unusual. And there we're in. Let's check out last destinations. Let's go to Southern, where Stealth Racing are. And there we go, that's pretty quick. Other stuff, what else do people do? I don't know. What do you want to do in here? Yeah. As you can see, we're going to look at that in greater detail shortly, but you can see that doesn't appear to be laggy to the degree of it being annoying or particularly more laggy than it is in the older cars. Okay, myth number two is that the infotainment system is laggy generally, not just when you've started up the car. Well, I've never had an issue with that on this car, but I have experienced it on others. Now this is an early car. It was pretty good in that respect before the software update, and to be honest, it's not been any different since. So let me show you what it does. Let's go into radio. Let's pick radio 4, which is there. Okay, that's done. Let's go back to the menu. Let's go to navigation. Let's go to, I don't know, where should we pick? Let's pick Volkswagen UK's headquarters, so Mk8 5AN. I think that's the one. Okay, and let's zoom out and have a look at the route. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Let's go back. Let's do Apple CarPlay. So go back to the home screen, Apple CarPlay, back to the menu. Let's go to Maps and do the same thing. So, I mean, this isn't really the head unit working, it's the phone. So it's not necessarily representative, but let's carry on anyway. Let's go to Mk8. And there we go, straight down the M40. Right, what else can we do? Let's try and mess around with the background lighting then. So I've got it in red, which is like the GTI colour. We can go a bit Golf R if you want and go a bit blue. You can have a mixture, but let's go all blue. There you go. Wouldn't call that laggy. We can have mood lighting, so. Is that really yellow? God, it is, isn't it? It's like turmeric. Yeah, it's like a turquoise. What else can I do to show you that this is not laggy? I really don't know. I don't use the phone because that's through CarPlay. Let's go to settings then. When I'm filming, I turn the Wi-Fi off because it interrupts the GoPro connection. So let's turn that back on. Infotainment system is a hotspot. It was already on actually. Let's turn it. Oh yeah, because I turned the engine off and it comes back on. Okay, well let's turn that off. And let's go back. Oh, I can't stand these colour schemes. Let's turn the colour scheme back to red, which is down here. There we go. I think that's better. Okay, on to myth number 3, and that's to do with the unlit sliders underneath the infotainment screen. A lot of people hate these because they're fiddly to use and they're not illuminated, so you can't use them easily at night. But the trick with them is to not actually look at them when you use them. Anyway, they're in your peripheral vision. The only one as a driver you'll need to use anyway is the temperature one, because the audio is done on the steering wheel here and the other temperature one is for the passenger. So that's the one you only need to worry about. Up until recently, I've just been doing this, pressing that black area there, gives me this lovely interface here. But more recently, I've actually got used to using these and I think they're brilliant. I don't slide in them though, I dab them and that gives you an increment of half a degree centigrade. If you go to the left, it's down. If you go to the right, where it's red, it's up. So let me just demonstrate to you. It's on 22.5 now. I want to go up to 24. So 1, 2, 3. It's on 24. I want to go down to 23. So there's 2 presses. You're not going to change it massively. You're not going to do like 5 degrees in one go. If you are, then you can just slide your way down to get to where you want to get to. But driving, I can shut my eyes and go to 24. I can shut my eyes and go to 22. So there you go. It's something that does take some learning, but actually it's quite nice to operate. It's higher up than the knobs on a Mark 7, and yeah, it's different, but just get used to it, and when you do, it's fine. Okay, number 4 is a good one, this actually. When you first get into Mk8 Golf, you seem to want to, for some reason, to put your hands on this lower section where the sliders are to operate the touchscreens to steady yourself. And obviously by doing that, you're going to get in a mess because you're going to turn the climate up and the audio up. So it takes a bit of time to get used to doing this, but the way to steady your hand is to put it on top of the screen and then operate with your thumb. So you go into vehicle like that, you go into status like that, you run your hand across the top of it. That's your sort of stabilizer here, and then you can reach all the icons quite easily. But yeah, I've done it and it's really frustrating because you're going like that, but you can't avoid pressing the controls that are down there. So yeah, put your fingers on the top there and just run through the icons with your thumb, and it just works really well then. Okay, on to myth number 5 then, and that relates to the ESC on and off function. On a Mark 7 7.5, it's down here by the gear stick. It's a big traditional switch. You just hold it down for a few seconds and that turns it off. On the Mark 8, if you don't set up a shortcut, it is a very long-winded process to get it. So you go into vehicle again, brakes there, and then ESC system off, and then confirm. But if you set it up as a shortcut just the once, which stays there forever after that, it takes about 15 seconds to do that. All you need to do is slide down, ESC off, confirm, done. So that's really easy. We've covered that before in a video you probably should watch if you haven't already, and that's 10 top tips for Mk8 Golf. But it still keeps on coming up in the press, even though Volkswagen UK started in about May to configure the cars to have that shortcut. The other thing that keeps on coming up as well is that even with a shortcut, it's really hard to turn it off when you're driving. Well, I can demonstrate that it's not that hard. I'll do it in a straight line because there's only so much you can do when you're driving safely, and you shouldn't really be messing around with ESC when you're going around corners. So we're driving down the road now, and actually I need to turn it back on first. So ESC system activated, that's done, right. So now we'll do it properly. So you're driving down the road, you're thinking, there might be some good corners coming up. I'm gonna turn off the ESC. So drag down, ESC, off, confirm. Just to show that's not a fluke. Down, probably going to have to turn it on again now, just turn it on, ESC, activated. Okay, so it's on. Let's try that again, and oh, there's a bend coming up, but can we combine it? ESC, off, confirm. So it is most definitely possible to do that while driving, and I've timed it, and it takes a fraction of a second longer to do it than it does in a Mark 7.5. Okay, let's move on to myth number 6, which is regarding the haptic buttons on the steering wheel. A lot of reviewers have said that they don't work properly. Well, I beg to differ. They take a bit of learning when you get used to them. I feel they work a lot better than normal buttons. Let me demonstrate. Okay, so normally I drive with my hands there, and to have the audio control just to slide away there is lovely. Just run your thumb up there, and that works really well because unlike climate control where you're trying to fiddle with the temperature, you hear an instant response to your action. So if that's the right volume, great, or a little bit down. So I love that. Then we've got the cruise control here as well. So there's a number there that says 32, that's the cruise control speed. You alter that here, and you can do it in 5 or 1 mile/hour increments. So just to prove it works, I'm going to select 45, just turn the volume down. Okay, so there you are, 45. Oh, let's be a bit more technical, let's go to 48. Lovely, let's go to 53. So big press, 1, 2, 3, light press is 53. So I would say that's working. Let's look at the trip computer now, that's the other bit that's on the steering wheel. So let's go to the left-hand side display, and let's go up to power. Let's select power. There we go, that's displayed there. Let's go to the middle one. Let's go up to, let's find speed. That's already there anyway, but there we go, speed. And let's do the right one, which I have as average consumption. So there we go. I don't know how you can say that doesn't work. Okay, on to number 7, which is that it's easy to operate the steering wheel buttons, particularly the heated steering wheel one, when you're driving in error. And admittedly, yeah, I did that the first time I drove a Mark 8, but I swear to God, I have done it very, very infrequently since. So let me just demonstrate. I mean, we're in a relatively empty car park. Why don't I do a load of 3-point turns, and you can see if I hit it in error. Right, let's go. So select drive. I'm going to twiddle the steering around like a mad thing, so probably end up driving into my A2. So just watch for the display doing something funny like heated steering wheel. It'll put a notice up if I do operate that. Okay. Nothing. Now let's have a look at it carefully. So I drive like this, I have my hands like that, and I can understand how it happens because it's happened to me, but I can't understand why it's such a big issue, because I don't know how you end up pressing that by mistake. Now, what I should point out is that now it's getting colder. At about 11 or 12 degrees, it does turn it on automatically, and that's available as an option in the infotainment system. So Possibly that could be accounting for some of the reports of the heating steering wheel coming on in error. I don't know. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this Volks Wizard video. If you have, as ever, please give it a thumbs up. Please do comment, please do share. Please do subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video very soon.